myself because this particular episode, I only want to ask myself few questions honestly about trust. Who, what are my perception about trust? And I just want to speak to myself. I think I've spoken about some subjects with my audience, but now I'm looking at talking to myself about trust, and so that's the reason why maybe the comment section is turned off. So even though I'm doing it live, I'm keeping it just to go ahead with my own thought and see how I process things while I'm being honest with whatever I say. Part of the question I want to ask myself, I think I have over 9 questions here that I think I should ask myself, and I have to be sincere to myself with any discussion I want to have. Perhaps maybe the people who watch it would be able to also sometimes reflect and talk to themselves and keep the memory of their thoughts so they see how they evolve as people. My first question to myself is, what does trust mean to me, and how what does trust mean to me, and how have I evolved over time? I think for me, the idea of trust is when I begin to depend on somebody. Trust for me simply means I want to depend on somebody, or putting certain things in the hands of someone and trusting the fact that the person will take care of that thing even in my absence. But I think that my thought would be, I really don't trust anything, including myself, including anyone. I do not trust anything because I have seen that few things that I saw in a particular limelight 5 years ago and my perception about how I see things 5 years ago compared to how I see things right now, I think they are different. And when I see that I can grow and evolve, I do not even trust so much what my eyes see. I do not trust my knowledge on what I know in my head because I believe that there is always a chance for me to grow. So my trust is that, if what does trust mean to me? Trust to me simply means that there is a possibility for me to become better, or for me to have a different kind of experience, or for me to get a little bit more conscious. I trust that fact in life that I can be more conscious, I can be more knowledgeable, I can grow, and I can become a better person. That's what trust means to me, that if I am alive, I can trust in the fact that if I put in the work, I will be able to evolve and grow with time. There is always that possibility that there's something I am not seeing clearly. And so sometimes I may say things, and no matter what I say, regardless of the fact that it might sound profound, it might change with time. So if everything I have ever trusted in my past before has always not always been the same, then why should I trust? The only thing I can do is to trust in the possibility for my growth as long as I am alive. That's what trust at this stage of my life, that's what it means to me. The second question is, when was the last time I felt truly trusted by someone and how it made me feel. Now, I think my own answer on it will be how I feel when people trust me and they put their trust in me. I think it is a privilege. I think it is a privilege for me to be there and people can trust me. Now, I, on the other hand, would not trust anyone, would not even trust myself because in my perception of trust is that the only time you can get betrayed in life is when you trust somebody. You can never feel betrayed in life if you don't trust somebody. So, if that is the case, when people trust me, I try not to take it for granted, but I also try to let them understand that just because you find a way to trust me, do not think that I can never disappoint you because I am also a human. And I understand that the perception people would have might feel like if you can't trust yourself, then I don't want to have anything to do with you. But that's also fine. I try my best to make sure that I am worthy for people to depend, rely, trust. But I also understand my limitation. So when people entrust me with something, I only would prefer to have what I can control than you putting so much trust in me over things that I know I cannot control. But whenever someone trusts me, for me, it is a privilege and it is an honor, and I don't take it lightly. So, how does it make me feel? I think it makes me feel gratitude that regardless of my awakening and consciousness, there are those who still trust me. Unfortunately, I have deficiency in trusting. Number three, have I ever betrayed someone's trust and what did I learn from it? Have I ever betrayed someone's trust and what did I learn from it? I think I have betrayed someone's trust. Absolutely. I think I have betrayed someone's trust. Now, the reason why I said I think I've betrayed someone's trust is because I know I have betrayed someone's trust. If I leave it at that, it might not make a lot of sense, but the insight on it is like when I was younger in my teens, there were this uncle who used to support me, Uncle P. He was a great man. He was Brimo's manager. And you know, he wanted me to do some things for him and the rest of it. And I could not meet up with those things. And there was a time I think he gave me money. My mom was in a tight situation, and that money was also important. And I had to support my mom. And I feel I betrayed his trust for putting something in my hand. And maybe there are other minor things I can't really recall, but these are many years ago. But just because it is many years ago does not mean that I would exempt myself from the idea of if I had betrayed someone before. And the second question under it is how what did I learn from it? One of the things I can say that I learned from Uncle P, most especially, was that it taught me things about trust. that even though he commits something in my hands, he understood that I was human being. And rather than him to scold me, he loved, he showed me love, maybe understanding my situation. And that makes me have the mindset when I was being betrayed in my life also to be able to show love to people who has betrayed me. I think it was a good role model for me. Yes, I think it's a good role model for me. It taught me that even while if I'm being betrayed, let me know that the biggest thing I can give is love and give people chance. Not chance so they can hurt me in that same way, but to welcome them and give them the understanding so they can also give that same gift to the world. Sometimes we condemn people, and I'm not saying there is no need of punishments, but I think it showed me a different thing. And those who betrayed me, I was able to show love to them. Um, I think that's what I learned from Uncle P. The fourth question will be, how do I decide who is worthy of my trust? How do I decide who is worthy of my trust? That means someone who I can trust in. For me, I think like I said earlier, I don't trust people. What I only do is to look at people's competency. What are they competent in doing? If I know how competent people are in what they do, and I know their ability, and then I look at their character, ability, and competency. Now, when I look at these three different things, because I know in the idea of people saying my dignity, my pride, and all of that, all those things is basically for public consumption. Dignity, honor, and all those things. It's to me, it's like public consumption to just show to the world like they have something that they're not. Because someone might say, I have dignity, I can't take from the, and then the person maybe you offer them 1 million, they say no, just like most police in Nigeria, they will say no, you offer them 2 million, they say no, but once they see 10 million, they can shoot somebody, and then their dignity will be thrown down the drain. It seems as if every human have a price. So I only look at their competency and their ability and their character, and that is what I can use to navigate to see if this person is worthy for me to say, oh, can I commit something like this in the person's hand, knowing fully well that the person is also a human being. And I try not to be lazy to commit things into somebody's hand where I know there's a possibility that I can also handle it myself. Sometimes to me, it sounds as if trust is a way for lazy people. Sometimes people say that trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. I don't think trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. I think love is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. Love, not trust, because most people seek for trust rather than them to seek for love. And so, to decide if I can commit something in someone's hand, I have to look at the characteristics, the beliefs, the ability, and maybe some of the principles too of that individual, but knowing fully well that they are humans. Number five will be, what are my boundaries when it comes to trusting others? What are my boundaries when it comes to trusting others? I think I have certain principle, and when people just go around that principle and they break it at the moment or they break it, I would try to understand why they break those principles. Sometimes I understand that people can get, be in a tight place and they may do something they don't wish to do. But for me, I'm only interested in that they do those things being aware, or it was because it was an error. How sorry are they with what they do, and what is the possibility that they would change? Now, if there's no possibility and you break around my principles, I most likely would have to let the individual go. How important is loyalty to me and how I perceive loyalty in others? I think loyalty is expensive. It requires consistent action over time. I think loyalty is expensive and it require consistent actions over time. So that means that even a dog can be loyal to his master, but most likely because his master takes good care of him. So if I want someone to be loyal to me, I also have to be loyal to the person. I have to be committed to that person. I don't expect to be loyalty from someone who I am not willing to be loyal to be committed to. And so people say dogs are more trustworthy than humans, but we forgot the fact that we feed the dogs almost every time. We cater for the dogs, and the dog do not need much expensive things. And that's why it's easier for the dog. But humans, because they have many desires, so loyalty from humans are more expensive. So, but will I prefer to have the loyalty of a dog than the loyalty of humans? I think if I am lazy, that's what I would prefer. I think if I'm conscious, I should be able to have the loyalty of people because I am willing to commit consistently in an action to also support them and to be loyal to them. Um, Number seven, what role does my vulnerability play in my ability to trust? What role does my vulnerability play in my ability to trust? I think one of the things I am able to discover, and it is not a rocket science, is that I am just a human being and I'm just trying my best. As long as the flesh is concerned, I would keep improving myself to be a better version of me because I know there is no version of me that is the best version of me. Rather, they can only be a better version of me. So I am vulnerable to certain things and I understand my own weaknesses. And because I understand my weaknesses, it kind of helps me along the line. It helps me along the line. Um, but does it play a role in my ability to trust? I don't think, like I said, I trust. So, number eight will be how I handle situations where my trust is broken. I think, how do I handle situations where my trust is broken? I think, first of all, I believe that when you trust someone is because you have committed so much in their hands. And maybe I failed my own path. The only thing that I understand in life is that people who come to your life are either there to teach you something and they go, they're either your teacher or they are there to live with you. That means a long journey. So, but when I get betrayed or I feel like my heart has been broken, I only ask myself, how much of myself have I committed to the person's hand? Because some people might be good in this and they may not be good in that. But have I over commit too much responsibility or too much expectations from them? And it is when I commit so much expectations to people, then my heart feel broken. Then I have to ask myself, what I gave to them or what I have put in their hands, is it that I actually put too much? Do I know if they were competent or they were not? Or I just look at them that because they are humans and we love each other, they are supposed to always be loyal to me or never to betray my trust if I do. But I only have a sense of I have to be responsible, even if I'm betrayed. It is still my fault at the end of the day. But I can only get betrayed if I truly trust people. But I don't trust myself because I have a long way to go. I improve every single time. I wouldn't put my trust on them, but I can commit things in their hand, knowing fully well that they may fail, not necessarily because they want to break my heart or they want to betray me. It most likely might be situations and tragedies of life can happen. That thing might be precious to me, but when things happen to them, what can I do? Maybe the pressure is more than what they can bear. Now, the last question will be, do I trust myself? For me, I don't, like I said, I am very careful of the spirit of greed and sin. I'm very careful of the spirit of greed and sin. Because when I say I trust myself, to me, it sounds like I think I am this. And because of the principle or the trust that I have, all the things that I think I believe that I can do, that simply means nothing can actually break me. I think everyone has a breaking point. The only thing is, am I aware of my breaking point? And if I notice where my breaking point is, what I do is I strengthen that particular part to go further so I can build that thick character, that thick habit that I become resilient to temptation, knowing fully well that no matter how I grow, I am still a human. And I know one thing fully well in my life that the ground I walk on would be my roof one some days. And that means every of my if I put a trust in myself like I think I am something, maybe I'm worthy of something, just because I walk on ground, one day the ground is going to be a roof over my head. And so I only trust in the fact that there's a possibility that I can improve myself and I can grow in life. That's just only what I trust. That is a chance, there's a possibility as much as I'm alive. So I try to be grateful and I try to be very humble because living life and hating humans is a sign to me as being ungrateful. So I need to understand that sometimes if they don't meet up with few things in my life, it is okay When I become resentful and I become unhappy, the question is, what benefit has it done to me just because I get betrayed by people and I decide to be resentful against them? What benefit? What can it do for me? And I realize there is no single benefit. So it's just to move on with life. That's the best, I think, with the thought I have with myself. I'll keep this and see how it goes in life. May God always help me to make the right choice in my life. Amen.